kind of spitting. Let me see these Warrior fans in here. These niggas kind of spitting, no cap. Cause I'm about to upload my video, and I'm about to fucking reiterate the same thing these niggas said on the timeline. No cap. Yo, I don't understand why niggas is upset at what these niggas are saying, bro. Some of the shit is kind of dragging it. Like niggas comparing um Curry to fucking LeBron. That's just OD. But I'm serious when I say like, nigga, some of this shit, bro. I be thinking to myself like, nigga, I agree. I agree with y'all niggas. Like, I don't understand why niggas is upset at them. I truly don't. Yo, to the Warrior fans in here,
Yo.
what why do people hate y'all?
Personally, me, I'm not a Warriors fan. I like
Oh
Steph
wow.
Curry. I like Steph Curry. I'm just not a Warriors fan. I'm a fan of players, not teams. Um, I think you could ask the guy with the Steph Curry logo though.
Okay, like is he gonna chef? Are you gonna say something? I guess not. Oh, here's another
Interesting.
one. Cause I just want to know. I every single time they say something crazy, I don't be seeing it on my timeline. I legit don't see the crazy shit on my timeline. Outside of
How are
the
you a
fucking
Curry fan, but you're not a
LeBron, I mean
Warriors fan?
Curry's
That don't
better
make
than
no
LeBron
sense.
shit.
Like kind
I'm
That's
of like
what's
not.
crazy. Like we
Lakers
don't
fans that's
accept that.
LeBron fans.
Right, right,
Like Lakers fans, some of LeBron fans and Lakers fans.
I
People
support
that
right,
look
LeBron
past
Well,
too.
him.
but
But
LeBron has been on different teams outside of the Lakers, so I can see how that happens. But I just want to know because I don't understand why niggas. Because I hear some of the stuff that they be saying on the timeline, and maybe I just don't see the crazy shit. But I be thinking to myself, well, like, yo, I kind of agree with a lot of shit they be saying. So I
Like
just
the
need to
step over
understand
Kobe
why
stuff.
niggas.
they do got a
You
lot
agree
of
with that?
points.
No,
Damn,
the
what?
Steph over Kobe stuff is kind of crazy.
Stuff over LeBron shit is
I
definitely
agree
not
with.
okay.
Whoa, his mic is bugging.
I
Sorry, my guy, your mic is bugging.
agree with it though.
Yeah, I personally don't see it on my timeline like that. And every single time somebody brings it up, they have to like explain to me or walk me through like what they're saying. But I swear I never see it. Like I never ever see the crazy shit. Even what they were saying about the other day about LeBron.
Nah, they be
I was
wilding.
like, yo,
Nah, they be wilding with that.
no. But they were in a room talking about how like LeBron was in a weak East and shit like that. And I was like, nigga, why is I don't know, niggas like I don't know. But like they just be saying shit and I'll be like, I don't know, like it's ain't that crazy. Like niggas saying shit is not as crazy as people make it out to be. Which is also crazy because some of these niggas is the same ones who was defending Westbrook all season long, and I'm like, bro, like, nigga, you were sitting there fucking defending Russ. I don't understand like why the fuck if a nigga wants to say this shit about Curry, I don't understand why you think it's that crazy when you were trying to defend Russ. But somebody just needs to explain to me like what is the crazy shit they be saying because I truly don't be seeing that shit, bro.
Uh,
I just don't. I don't see it, bro.
I think it's just who they comparing Steph Curry to. Like you
Let's
shouldn't be
be 100%
comparing Steph
honest.
Curry to Kobe or
yeah, you can do
Just,
that.
LeBron
No, you
or.
just,
could compare Steph to
or
Kobe, but not LeBron.
bro, look,
I
bro.
don't know. I see when
Most of
some of
them
y'all
are
niggas
comparing.
have
Yeah,
Steph
no, you
or
said
have
you can
Kobe
compare
ranked.
Steph to
There's
Kobe.
there's a there's a legitimate argument for that.
Compare Steph to
No.
Kobe? How? Doing what?
I mean,
Playing
peak
basketball.
peak for
Bro,
peak.
get
I
up out of
mean,
here,
he's a
bro.
better playoff performer and a better finals performer.
Is
Oh,
he?
Better playoff performer? What are
I
you
guess
talking
he's
about?
more
He has
efficient.
less
He's a
finals
better
MVP.
playoff postseason performer and he's a better finals performer than Kobe. He's better
How is he
peak
a better finals
peak
performer
for
than
peak
Kobe with less
peak.
finals MVPs, boss?
What?
What?
Come on, don't do that.
Alright,
Don't do
we're,
nigga.
that.
we're using
What do you mean
finals
don't do
MVP.
that?
That's a
Bro,
Finals
bogus
hey,
MVP.
point.
hey, look.
Look
So
who he
is
was put
I'm
him
gonna let
so
y'all
next
is
watch
to
the
Andre
game.
in order
Iguodala
to
up
lose
there
those
Y'all,
finals
y'all
MVP.
tweaking
because
right
he
now.
has the finals MVP? Is Iguodala among that like rank?
Yeah, facts. He should have won that one, the Iguodala one. like hands down. Like not even
A
even like
finals,
close.
it doesn't matter how many finals MVP someone has. It's their performance that they actually played. And Steph's a better finals
He
performer
didn't.
than Kobe.
He didn't deserve it, but it is what it is. I
He
guess.
does.
He didn't. He didn't deserve that Finals MVP. I just again, I don't want to know though.
This nigga really just compares Steph Curry to Kobe Bryant.
He's better.
I guess my question is like, are we not looking at all defensive, all NBA?
Oh,
Yeah,
let me
I'm-
be.
Like y'all are
comparing,
literally.
Yo, I ain't gonna
I'm
lie.
telling you, like I feel like y'all are
comparing
just
media
literally like
accolades,
recency
that's just a
bias.
This
whole other
nigga said
story that we're
pistol
gonna
in
have.
my bed. Jesus Christ.
well,
Yo,
no,
pistol.
the media
Pistol,
accolades
you're.
still.
Hold on, wait. Pistol, your mic is like mad low. I like nobody can hear what you're saying. So like that's why people keep talking over you.
We
Yeah.
just judge basketball differently. Because big fruit.
I was gonna say the media accolades kind of portray what we see as Kobe
Because
Bryant is
Kobe
clearly the better
wasn't
defender between him
like
and
for like
Steph.
his last few All NBA defensive teams. Kobe wasn't even that
This
good
is
of a
great.
defender.
See now, this is why I wanted the Celtics to win, bro, because I knew people was gonna be
All right,
doing
but
this.
what about the
Like,
3
bro,
years that he was playing with Shaq?
You
crazy.
said
I gotta
what?
go on
Oh
mute.
wait.
Hold
Is anybody saying that Curry is over
Me.
Kobe, or we're just
Yes.
saying we're just trying to rationalize?
Nah, I got Curry over Kobe for
I
sure.
got Curry over Kobe.
Okay.
What the?
Wow. Okay, here it is. Okay, this is what I've
Hey,
been
yo,
waiting
no,
for.
This is it.
This
This
is
is
what I've
it.
been waiting for because I again, like I said before, I never heard like the foolishness. This is like one of the
bro,
crazy
what?
takes right here.
It's really not that crazy though.
Even
All
if
right,
you
why?
want to say that Kobe wasn't as good as a defender in his '08 to '10 campaign, I
And
mean,
Steph's,
he still
yeah,
had
we can
3
talk about
rings
defender,
before
but
that.
Steph's the much better offensive
All right,
player
why?
than
But
Kobe.
okay,
Steph
why
is
is
a
why
way
is
better
How
why
is
is
scorer.
Steph a much better offensive player?
He's
What
a
are
much
you
better
talking about?
playmaker, and he's in my opinion, peak for peak, he's a better scorer than Kobe.
He was not a much better playmaker.
yeah?
He's not a much better playmaker.
I'd
He
say the
is.
gravity,
He was
the
a much
scoring
better
gravity is
3-point
He's
shooter.
a
a
better
That's
little
it.
on ball.
closer than
He's
you
a
would.
better on ball playmaker. He's a better
His
scorer.
gravity
He's a better
alone,
shooter.
his
He's more
gravity alone
efficient
makes him a better
with the
playmaker.
ball. Like I don't know.
They both
I
have
don't think you want to have
incredible scoring gravity,
you
though.
want
I
to have
don't
a
know what we're
conversation
going
about
at here.
gravity.
I'm not bringing up Curry. I'm just saying he's a.
Like we're talking about somebody that demanded triple and quadruple teams, bro. Not like
Like,
I
he
understand.
So
literally
does Steph.
scored 81
Did you
points
not
in
see
a
the
game.
Toronto series in the finals? Like, are you kidding me?
I feel you, but I'm saying,
He's clearly a better
He's a clear.
playmaker. What the
He's
fuck?
a clear better offensive player than Kobe.
bro, how are you getting? I don't understand how do you get it.
I don't
I think
think
that
so.
I think
This
it's
is
a
why.
fair
See, now
argument, but
this
I
is
don't
why.
think the
Hold on,
gap
hold on.
is
This
as
is
big as you're making it
for
out
all
to
my
be.
Laker
Crazy?
fans.
Is
All my
Steph
Laker
not a
fan
better
fans. All my
offensive player
Laker
than
fan
Kobe? Is
fans.
what I'm saying. Crazy?
No,
Nah,
he's
all
not.
my Laker
Nah,
fan
he's
fans are
not.
getting
He's not.
ready to disown me for
He's
my
not a better
Celtics fans.
offensive
Bro, we
player,
need
but
the Celtics to
I think
win,
he's a
bro.
better
The agenda's
playmaker.
gonna be too crazy. Like
Curry's
this
a
is
better
insane,
perimeter
bro.
shooter than
Like y'all
Kobe,
can
and he
celebrate
can get
Steph
to the
if I
hole.
like. Why do y'all gotta bring me into it?
He's not a
I'm
better
not bringing
All
up
the
playmaker than
Kobe.
great.
Kobe.
It's my top 10 list.
It's
It's
because they both
Steph
guards.
past Kobe. Like,
All I'm saying is
Yo,
Curry
oddball
top
stat.
5.
nah, I'm not going that
But
far. I have Curry
Curry's
Yo, I
top.
top
just
I
five.
have
want to
Curry
know,
top
bro.
He's
7.
Why do you
trolling.
think
He's
Why do
trolling.
you think
He's
Steph
trolling.
is as good as LeBron?
I don't. I just tweeted that shit out honestly as bait. But if I were to break it down,
Obviously.
hold up. If I were to break it down to my top 7, I could give you my top 7 right now. Do you want me to do that or no?
Yeah, go.
Yo, um, I just need to understand why so many people hate Warrior fans. Niggas be sending me stuff that the Warriors fans be saying, and I be thinking to myself like, niggas low key spitting, no cap. Yeah, I be thinking to myself like, nah, niggas kind of spitting. Let me see these Warrior fans in here. These niggas kind of spitting, no cap. Cause I'm about to upload my video and I'm about to fucking reiterate the same thing these niggas said on the timeline. No, yo, I don't understand why niggas is upset at what these niggas are saying, bro. Some of the shit is kind of dragging it. Like niggas comparing um Curry to fucking LeBron. That's just OD. But I'm serious when I say like nigga, some of this shit, bro. I be thinking to myself like nigga, I agree. I agree with y'all niggas. Like I don't understand why niggas is upset at them. I truly don't. Yo, to the Warrior fans in here,
Yo,
what why do people hate y'all?
personally, me, I'm not a Warriors fan. I like
Oh
Steph
wow.
Curry. I like Steph Curry. I'm just not a Warriors fan. I'm a fan of players, not teams. Um, I think you could ask the guy with the Steph Curry logo though.
Okay, like is he gonna chef? Are you gonna say something? I guess not. Oh, here's another
Interesting.
one. Cause I just want to know. I every single time they say something crazy, I don't be seeing it on my timeline. I legit don't see the crazy shit on my timeline. Outside of
How are
the
you a
fucking
Curry fan, but you're not a
LeBron, I mean
Warriors fan?
Curry's
That don't
better
make
than
no
LeBron
sense.
shit.
The
I'm,
kind of
I'm
like
That's
not.
betrayal.
Lakers
We don't
fans, that's
accept that.
LeBron fans.
Right, right,
Like Lakers fans, some of LeBron fans and Lakers fans.
I
Figure
support
that
right,
out
LeBron
past
Well,
too,
right.
but
but
LeBron has been on different teams outside of the Lakers, so I can see how that happens. But I just want to know because I don't understand why niggas. Because I hear some of the stuff that they be saying on the timeline, and maybe I just don't see the crazy shit. But I be thinking to myself like, yo, I kind of agree with a lot of shit they be saying. So I
Like
just
the
need to
Steph over
understand
Kobe
why
shit.
niggas.
they do got a
You
lot of.
agree with that?
No, the
Damn, what?
Steph over Kobe stuff is kind of crazy.
Stuff over LeBron shit is
I
definitely
agree
not
with it.
okay.
Whoa, his mic is bugging. Sorry, my guy, your mic is bugging.
I agree with it though.
Yeah, I personally don't see it on my timeline like that. And every single time somebody brings it up, they have to like explain to me or walk me through like what they're saying. But I swear I never see it. Like I never ever see the crazy shit. Even what they were saying about the other day about LeBron.
Nah, they be
I was
wilding.
like, yo,
Nah, they be wilding with that.
no. But they were in a room talking about how like LeBron was in a weak East and shit like that. And I was like, nigga, why is I don't tell niggas like I don't know. But like they just be saying shit and I'll be like, I don't know. Like it's ain't that crazy. Like niggas saying shit is not as crazy as people make it out to be. Which is also crazy because some of these niggas is the same ones who was defending Westbrook all season long, and I'm like, bro, like, nigga, you were sitting there fucking defending Russ. I don't understand like why the fuck if a nigga wants to say this shit about Curry, I don't understand why you think it's that crazy when you were trying to defend Russ. But somebody just needs to explain to me like what is the crazy shit they be saying because I truly don't be seeing that shit, bro.
Uh,
I just I don't see it, bro.
I think it's just who they comparing Steph Curry to. Like
Nah, bro.
you shouldn't be
Let's be 100%
comparing Steph
honest.
Curry to Kobe or
yeah, you can do
Just,
that.
LeBron
No,
or
you
just,
could compare Steph to Kobe,
whatever.
but not LeBron.
Right. Look,
I
bro,
don't know. I've
if
seen
you're
where
talking
some of y'all
about
niggas
comparing,
have
yeah.
Steph
you
or
said
have
you can
Kobe
compare
ranked.
Steph to
There's
Kobe.
there's a there's a legitimate argument for that.
Compare
There's
Steph to
no.
Kobe how? Doing what?
I mean,
Playing
peak
basketball.
peak for
Bro,
peak.
get
I
up out of
mean,
here,
he's a
bro.
better playoff performer and a better finals performer.
Is
Oh
he?
Better
man.
playoff performer. What are
I
you
guess
talking
he's
about?
more
He has
efficient.
less
He's a
finals
better
MVP.
playoff postseason performer and he's a better finals performer than Kobe.
You're
He's
tripping.
better
How is he a
peak
better finals
peak
performer
for
than
peak
Kobe with less
peak.
finals MVPs, boss?
What?
What?
Come on, don't
Oh,
do
man.
that.
All right, good.
Don't do
Nigga.
that.
We're using
What do you mean
finals
don't do
MVP.
that?
That's a terrible point.
That's a
Bro,
Finals
hey,
MVP.
point.
hey, look.
Look
So
who he
is
was put
I'm
up
gonna let
so
y'all
next
is
argue,
to
Andre
man.
in order
Iguodala
to
up
lose
there
a
Y'all,
finals
y'all
MVP.
tweaking
because
out
he
here.
has the finals MVP? Is Iguodala among that like rank?
Yeah, facts. He should have won that one, the Iguodala one, like hands down, like not even not
A
even gonna make
finals
the case.
MVP. It doesn't matter how many finals MVP
I
someone
think Iggy
has. It's
deserved
their
that
performance
personally.
that they actually played. And Steph's a better finals
He
performer
didn't.
than Kobe.
He didn't deserve it, but it is what it is. I
He
He
guess
did
did.
a
you know
great
what
job.
you're saying. He didn't deserve that Finals MVP. I don't want to know though.
This nigga really just compares Steph Curry to Kobe Bryant.
He's better than
I
them.
guess my question is like, are we not looking at all defensive,
I
all
mean, I think
NBA?
when it's all said
Oh,
and
That's
let me
done,
Yeah,
let me
I'm,
be.
Like
I
y'all
mean,
are literally.
comparing
Yo, I ain't gonna
I'm
lie.
telling you, like
Pistol.
y'all are
comparing media
literally like the
accolades,
recency
that's just
This
a
bias.
whole
nigga
other
said
story that we're
pistol
gonna
in
have.
my bed. Jesus Christ.
well,
Yo,
no,
pistol.
the media
Pistol,
accolades
you're
still.
hold on, wait. Pistol, your mic is like mad low. Like nobody can hear what you're saying.
oh shit,
So like
really?
that's why people keep talking over you.
We
Yeah.
just judge basketball differently then. Because peak fruit,
Yeah, I was gonna say the media
Is that better?
accolades kind of portray what we see as Kobe
because
Bryant is
Kobe
clearly the
wasn't
better
and it
defender
wasn't
between him
like
and
for like
Steph.
his last few All NBA defensive teams. Kobe wasn't even that
This
good
is
of a
crazy.
defender.
See now, this is why this is why I wanted the Celtics to win, bro. Because I knew people was gonna be
All right,
doing
but
this.
what about the
Like,
3 years that he was playing with
oh,
Shaq?
this
You
is crazy.
said
I gotta
what?
go on
Hold
mute.
on,
Hold
wait.
on.
Is anybody saying that Curry is over
Me?
Kobe, or we're just
Yes,
saying we're just trying to
I
rationalize?
Nah,
am.
I got Curry over Kobe for
I
sure.
got Curry over Kobe.
Okay.
What the
Wow. Okay, here it is. Okay, this is what I've
Hey,
been
yo,
waiting
no,
for.
no,
This is it.
This
This
no.
is
is
what
it.
I've been waiting for because like I said before, I never heard like the foolishness. This is like
That's
one of the
bro.
crazy
What?
takes right here.
It's really not that crazy though.
Even
All
if
right,
you
why?
want to
Why?
say that Kobe wasn't as good as a defender in his '08 to '10 campaign, I
And
mean,
Steph's,
he
all
still
right,
had
we can
three
talk about
rings
defender,
before
but
that.
Steph's the much better offensive
All right, why?
player than
But okay,
Kobe.
Steph
why
is
is
a
why
way
is
better
How
why
is
is
scorer.
Steph a much better offensive player?
He's
What
a
are you
much better
talking about?
playmaker, and he's in my opinion, peak for peak, he's a better scorer than Kobe.
He was not a much better playmaker. He's
you?
not a much better playmaker.
I'd
He
say the
is.
gravity,
He was
the
a much
scoring
better
Off,
gravity is
3-point
he's
shooter.
a
a
better
That's
little
it.
on ball
closer than
he's
you
a better
would.
on ball playmaker. He's a better
His
scorer.
gravity
He's a better
alone,
shooter.
his
He's more
gravity alone
efficient
makes him a better
with the
playmaker.
ball. Like I don't know.
They both
I
have
don't think. I don't think we want to have a
incredible scoring
conversation. I don't
gravity,
think we
though.
want
I
to have
don't
a
know what we're
conversation
doing
about
at here.
gravity right now.
I'm not bringing up Curry. I'm just saying he's a
Like we're talking about somebody that demanded triple and quadruple teams, bro. Not
talking
like
about a
I
guy who
understand that
so
you
did
literally
want Steph.
Steph.
scored 81
Did you
points
not
a
see the
game?
Toronto series in the finals? Like, are you kidding me?
I feel you, but I'm
He's
saying,
clearly a better playmaker, dog. He's clearly a better
He's a clear
playmaker. What the
he's
fuck?
a clear better offensive player than Kobe.
bro, how are you getting? I don't
Facts.
understand how do you get
I
that.
don't
I
think
think
he's
that
See
I
now,
think
this
it's
is
a
why.
What I'm
fair
saying
See
is
now,
argument, but
this
I
is
don't
why
think
I
I
the
don't.
don't
gap is as big
understand.
as you're making it out
All
to
my
be.
Laker
Crazy
fans,
is
all my
Steph
Laker
not a
fan
better
fans, all
offensive
my
player
Laker
than
fans
Kobe? Is
fans.
what I'm saying. Crazy.
No,
Nah,
he's
Oh,
all
not.
my Laker fan
He's
fans are
not.
He's
getting
not.
ready to disown me for
He's
my
not a better
Celtics rants.
offensive
Like, bro, we
player,
need
bro.
the Celtics
I
to
think
win,
he's a
bro.
better
Or the agenda's
playmaker.
gonna be too crazy. Like, this
Curry's a
is
better
insane,
perimeter
bro.
shooter than
Like, y'all can
Kobe, and he
celebrate
can get
Steph
to the
if I
hole.
like. Why do y'all gotta bring me into it?
He's not a
I'm
better
not
That's
bringing
all
up
the
playmaker than
Curry.
greats.
Kobe.
It's my top 10 list.
It's because they
It's
both
Steph
guards.
past Kobe. Like,
All I'm saying is
Yo,
Curry
oddball
top
stat.
five.
nah, I'm not going
What
that
up?
far. I have Curry
Curry's
Yo, I
top.
top
just
I
five.
want
have
to
Curry
know,
top
bro.
He's
Why
seven.
do you
trolling.
think
This is
He's
y'all.
Why do
trolling.
you think
He's
Steph
trolling.
is as good as LeBron?
Um, I don't. I just tweeted that shit out honestly as bait. But if I were to break it down,
Obviously.
hold up. If I were to break it down to my top seven, I could give you my top seven right now. Do you want me to do that or no?
Yeah, yeah, go for
I
it. Go
want to
for
go
it.
next.
So
By the
my
way,
top seven is Braun, not in order.
No order. Okay.
Is Braun, Jordan, Kareem, Kobe, Duncan, Magic, and Steph.
Bro,
That's
what are
my
you?
top seven.
can I get my top? Can I get my top 10? Can I get my
No
top 10?
Shaquille O'Neal. No
Wait, I'm
Steve.
gonna be.
No,
He's
Hey,
Steph
hey,
Curry.
hey, wait. I'm sorry, I gotta beat everybody. See, that's not that crazy. Like, I don't understand. Y'all niggas be saying shit, and it's not. That is not that crazy, bro. That's not. That is not that crazy, bro. It's really not that crazy.
Steph top seven is crazy.
Yeah, that's
I
a
don't care
fact.
what
That's
you say.
not
Nah,
that
nah, nah,
crazy,
nah,
bro.
nah, nah, nah.
Yo,
Nah,
this
That's
it,
not
nigga
it,
crazy.
really
it ain't.
What the
just
fuck?
Let
That's
me be
not that
clear.
he
I'm
come
crazy.
not saying
public
I have.
enemy
Top
number
seven,
one.
Let
bro.
me be
That's
clear.
crazy.
I'm not saying I have
And
Steph
he
top
said no
seven. But what
order.
I'm saying is, if somebody said they do, it's not
All right,
that crazy.
It
here's
is
my
that
top
crazy,
10 in
bro.
order,
I
though.
I
don't
Right?
do
care.
Here's my
think that Steph does some stuff better than Braun, but I think because of Braun's longevity, it's very
He
difficult at
shoots
this
better.
point for me to put him above him. I think Braun. I think you can say 1 through 7. You could shuffle that order regardless, but I think Rushmore's kind of solidified at this point. You got uh, Jordan, Braun, Kareem. You could say Magic. You could say Duncan. Like these dudes are winners at the highest level.
It'll
The
be
way
different by the time Curry
but
retires, though.
just so you know, this is my criteria: individual greatness within the context of winning. Can you be individually great but also win at a high level? Because not every player is able to do that. You look at the pantheon of the consensus top tens, like part of it is being able to sacrifice within a system, be unselfish. But LeBron's an anomaly because he's one of the few players ever that never really played in a system, but yet he's so individually great. He's able to reel off like
See,
multiple titles.
I'd argue he
my
is the
issue is
system.
so my issue is I feel like you're just taking it too far. Like I feel like once you get into the top 15, top 20, like you're already starting to split hairs. Everybody that you talked about or you mentioned being able to win and also have sustained individual greatness, like that is a prerequisite for being in the top 20, top 15. So the fact that you would take that and leap Steph Curry up into the top 7 and say that there's no order, to me
But
that's crazy.
if you factor in
Well,
keeping
obviously,
like
no.
as
That's
Well,
obviously
obviously
that's my
he's
base.
not saying Curry number one. I mean, what are we saying?
Well, and also that's my baseline comparison. Like within the individual greatness, there's longevity, there's peak,
Of course.
understanding the context of your competition, the era you played in,
Okay.
your help. Obviously, I'm not like blanket statement gonna say how great are you as like there's layers to it. I'm just saying that's the like surface level of how I would present it.
So from my perspective, I feel like once you start getting into the top 10, at that point it's two-way greatness only. Like only individuals that were
What about
killers on
Magic?
offense and killers on defense. Everyone that you mentioned, you talk about Hakeem, Kobe, MJ, LeBron,
He
Kareem.
said Magic though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
I
where
mean, Magic
people
guarded
get
1
messed
through 5
up.
in the
Like,
finals. Like
bro,
Magic
people
guarded
Magic was
his
understand.
team in
what?
the
But
finals.
Magic was
People
what?
is
Magic was what?
Like he wasn't locked down, but I mean, he still guarded 1 through 5 in the
Curry's
finals.
offensive
Okay, so that's
ceiling
the same
bro.
thing with
negates
Curry.
his
Curry's not a
defensive
Yeah.
lockdown, but he's a top 10
liabilities.
defender. What are you saying?
yeah, exactly. Steph Curry.
What about the
all
Celtics series made you think that Curry was a liability on defense?
Well, no, that's
I
what
never
I'm
said
not
he was
even.
a
I'm not even
liability.
saying
hey,
I'm
that.
facts.
saying
I'm
No,
like
Yeah,
saying
those
people
people
teams
say
are
that
he
are
was
gonna
at
a
the
attack
top,
liability on
Curry's
defense,
no,
but
like
defense.
there
those
has
teams that
never
are at
been
the
a
top,
series.
that
There has never
win
been
like
a
on all
series
their
Yo,
inside
own.
who's going through a
2016.
Who's niggas then,
spaceship
bro?
right now, nigga? God damn, bro, who's going through a spaceship? Fuck. All right, I'm muted, but somebody just try to get some order into it because I don't want to like put niggas in the fucking order like y'all 7 years old.
I'm
No, what I
saying
was saying
there
was
has
that
never been a.
people use Curry's defense like as a, you know what I'm saying? They like, his defense lacks, but Curry's offensive ability completely like negates his defensive. If anyone would say that his defense lacks, you feel me?
I mean, but he's saying his standard is two-way play for a top 10 player, and that
Right.
doesn't
And
make
I'm
any
saying
sense.
that
yeah,
Curry would be like an
Yeah,
exception to
I ain't gonna
that,
lie,
if anything.
pistol. You gotta go. You gotta get out of here, though. Your mic is just Jesus Christ. But
So
but
yeah,
and I'm going off of his standard because I mean everybody has their different standards,
yeah,
which is fine. But if you say that, then you literally can't say that Magic is top 10 because
right.
Magic, like there's clearly 10 players who were impactful on both sides of the floor. Like there's clearly 10 players who did that.
I mean, I think
Also
that's
being
fair. I think I would just
top of the
like
winnings.
for me, I probably wouldn't put Steph. Like I think Steph is maybe one championship away from like if Steph wins one more chip, I think at that point it's like okay, like you can put him like wherever you want to put him, I'm cool. But I feel like from my perspective, I think all of this is obviously on a sliding scale. A lot of this is obviously based on preference. But I think from my perspective, I look at those things as like okay, like two-way defense. You have the All NBAs. Do you have the defensive awards? Do you have the All NBAs? You have the MVP selection, you have the All Star selections, et cetera, and then the longevity as well. Obviously, some players do well in certain aspects versus other players. Like Kobe doesn't have the MVPs that other people do. Other people don't necessarily have the all defensive teams that people do. But from my perspective, I think that there is like a certain level that I think Steph hasn't like. In my opinion, like I tweeted right after the finals, I was like, "Yo, Steph's top 10." But then I had to walk it back. I was like, when I think about it, like is Steph really better than like folks like I don't know. Like, could I really put Steph over somebody like Shaq? Like, you know what I mean?
I mean,
I mean, Shaq's top
maybe.
five. I mean,
I mean,
why
for
would you
you,
put him
for
I
over
mean, you
for
didn't
Steph?
you,
have. I
for
mean,
you.
I didn't hear Shaq in that top
It
seven
Oh wait,
depends
either.
on.
Chef. Hold on, let me hear Chef because Chef was because we derailed from Chef giving his top whatever.
You want to hear my top 10? Bet, bet. I got you. All right, so I got LeBron first. I got Jordan, Kareem, Shaq, Duncan, Steph, Magic, Hakeem, KD, and then Kobe.
It's a good list.
You got KD in your top 10?
KD top 10 kind of nice. I ain't gonna hold
That's
you.
Wait,
Ninth,
crazy.
and I have
you got
ninth,
KD
and I
over
have
Kobe?
Kobe 10th. Yeah,
Yeah, KD over Kobe.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know about
also
that.
That's crazy,
that's
bro.
also nasty
I
as
do
fuck.
not know about that, but I think that's a solid 11 regardless.
Facts.
Nah, KD over. Katie
Put
over
you
I
over anybody in that top 10.
no,
I
No,
don't
that's
no,
I don't
nah. I'm
I
saying no.
don't love the order, but I think
Bro
those
put Finals MVP, but KD averaged 35 on 50, 40, 90 in the
yes,
finals.
and
One on one
that's
ball. I don't want to
that's
hear
that
that.
is
That's like
that is
goat. Like
amazing.
that's
That's
like
amazing when you can do that when you're playing on all-time great spacing and everybody else is like being concentrated on another player. Yes, you're right. When he
okay,
doesn't
but
when he didn't have that in OKC, his numbers were pedestrian, or
he,
at least they
he was
dropped in
still
the
putting up 30.
postseason.
He still put up 30 on LeBron. I'm like
Yeah, that's
I
that's
forget
one
the split.
series, but throughout his
Well,
time in OKC, his
yeah,
numbers
retarded.
dropped in the postseason, and then here we are now when he's not with the Warriors again, and his numbers continue to drop in the postseason.
Never
All right,
had a
all right,
playoff
all right.
run
Think
even
about the
close to as good as
2015. All
2012
right, think
after
about
2012.
2015 in the finals when LeBron's efficiency dipped when he didn't have Kyrie or Love. He shot like 39%. That's what basically K was going through OKC with negative spacing
Yeah, but
to like fast stuff.
LeBron has had several different postseason runs, not one series, full on runs with not that much help, and his efficiency
But
didn't
Bron
drop as
always
much
had
as
elite
Kevin Durant.
spacers though. He always had elite spacers though.
And I argue that that was an outlier season compared to literally every other playoff run in his career. The only one, even when he was playing in
I'm
2006
about
What
to
with
about
say
last year
Larry
when he
20
Hughes
went to?
20
and
yeah,
What about
20 yeah,
last year?
2015 is LeBron's worst postseason by far. And even that isn't as deep as a drop off as KD's drop off was in OKC. KD has a historic playoff dropper in terms of his efficiency, like a historically bad dropper. So I
All right,
can't.
but you got to think about it though. You players like Kobe, LeBron. They all as much bad as you think their team were or was. They always had good spaces. Literally, they
Kobe
didn't have
had
any
did
great
good
Kobe
spacing.
not
spacing.
have good spacing on that
No,
Lakers team, my nigga?
no.
Kobe did not
Bro,
have
he
great
had bro.
spacing.
I'm talking about like when like during his last two runs, even
No, he
during a couple
still didn't
playoff
have
Name the
good
runs. So
name
you
spacing.
name
had
the
Derek
great
Fisher.
spacers.
He had Derek Fisher. He had Pau Gasol.
That's
Nigga,
not.
please
Ron,
come on,
Ron
nigga, please
Artest.
come
No, he
He
could
had great
not.
Ron
spacing.
Ron Artest
Artest
could not
shooting is
shoot.
crazy.
What are you saying? Ron Artest could not shoot.
But I'm saying no, but they were still good spaces though. Like aside from that, he
No,
still
Ron
had good
Artest was
spacing.
not a spacer. No,
And
he was
and we're
not.
gonna all right. So now we're defactoring. Like we're gonna use what KD played with as like a thing. Like still, as much help as he had or how much space he had, he still averaged. Like he still to me had the GOAT finals like
You know what it
performance of all
is
time.
that with KD, and this is partly how I view basketball.
I definitely like. See, this is the crazy shit that's
He
being
shot
spoken
the most
about.
What
contested shots in the finals
what
too.
can the
By the way,
what can the defense take away from you, and can you be elite at what the defense gives you as your secondary attack? Meaning with Steph, you saw against Boston, they switched up their coverage. First, they played drop, right? You had Rob and Al at the arc or at the elbow at the nail, and they were just letting Steph walk into threes, and they said beat us that way. They were up 2-1. And Steph ended up beating them in game four. And now it's tied up. They switched it up in game five. Steph had 16 points. He was 0 for 9 from three, but he had 8 assists. He was creating. I know people like to mock gravity, but that they took away his scoring. So he was an elite playmaker in that game five. Game six was a blend of it. But with KD, if you take away that scoring, he just doesn't do the playmaking at an elite enough level to make the defense pay. You saw it in OKC, and I think you've seen it these past few years post Warriors. It's not to take away from him. He's an incredible player, but in the end, like with Kobe, he played in the triangle. That's the offense that encourages ball movement, encourages post play. It creates spacing, but he didn't necessarily have the greatest spacers. But he played within a system that sacrificed numbers in favor of team winning. My point is with KD, there are players that if you take some stuff away, what they can do offensively, can they still be elite at what the defense gives them as their secondary attack? If they take away your scoring, can you play make at an elite level? If they take away your playmaking, can you score at an elite level? That's another thing I value personally. That's why I have Steph so high. I think he has an argument to be the greatest offensive player ever because as an on-ball playmaker, as an off-ball playmaker, as an on-ball scorer, and as an off-ball scorer, which are to me the four subdivisions of offense, and I don't weigh them equally. I think on-ball scoring is probably the most valuable, but out of those four, I think Steph does those at the most elite level collectively. But you could argue someone could be a better on-ball playmaker like Magic. You could argue someone is a better on-ball scorer like I don't know. KD can get a shot off, right? Like you could argue these things, but in the end, the collective, the body of work, and you mean like Steph never didn't have a perfect career. Like it took him a while. Like 2016 had to happen for him to figure out what to do in 2019 when they took that Raptors team to six. They had no business. Just like LeBron in 2015, it took him a couple years. If he not had those failures early on, he wouldn't have been able to push that Warrior team to 6 games in his own right. So like with a depleted roster, how far can you? And that's the other thing with Steph. Steph can do it with spacing, without spacing. Like we saw with spacing this year, what he was able to do. And last year, I know the success wasn't there because you need talent to win. You can't win without like Steph is not winning without Clay and Draymond, just as any other great player is not winning without Shaq without Kobe, Kobe without Shaq. Like
This nigga
you need
chatting.
greats to win. But in the end, with Steph, it's you don't need to give Steph spacing. He averaged 32, won the scoring title, 65 and a half true shooting, got his shit off, first team All NBA, All Star starter last year. Okay, and then we saw like even those early Warriors. I know Clay and Draymond could shoot back in 16. In 15, they were a little bit worse of a version of themselves. But you could put Steph on, and this is another thing. I know I'm rambling, but you could put Steph on the court with defensive minded, defensive driven lineups. That's value there because those lineups are what win you championships. Defense wins you championships, and Steph can keep those lineups afloat. He's able to score with the best of them and generate high quality looks on offense with two non-shooters, two non-spacers like a Kevon Looney, like a Draymond, like a Livingston, like an Iguodala. You can't say that for everyone. I don't even think you could do that with LeBron in terms of can you put like you even saw with Russ and AD. And this is not again, this is just part of the game. Like it's just harder for LeBron to be an engine, a high-powered engine of an offense with multiple non-spacers compared to Steph. But you put spacing around both of them, they'll both give you 120, 118, 120 level offenses. So we're splitting hairs, but these are the things I look for as like individual greatness. Like if a defense takes this away, can you run these lineups? How versatile are you offensively? Like these types of things.
I think you're just okay. What you
Also,
just said.
a nigga, like just real quick, a nigga calling Ron Artest a floor spacer when that postseason run, he shot below 30% from three. That is a crazy take.
Bro,
That was so
that's
crazy.
crazy.
He's
That's
not a.
so
That's
crazy.
not a. That's not a
That
floor
was
spacer.
nasty.
Low. You can't be letting this go on, bro. That's crazy.
I
He's not a. Cause I mean, come on, bro. What are we saying, nigga?
KD over
Ron
Kobe. Come on,
Artest.
man.
And
Let's
low,
move
it
He
on.
took
made
you
one.
long
He
enough.
made.
God
He made
damn,
one
nigga.
three.
Come
He
on.
made
I ain't
one
been hearing
three. Now all
LeBurner,
of a
nigga
sudden
was
he's
Still
a
though,
floor spacer.
whatever it is y'all said, nigga, KD still averaged 35 or 50, 40, 90 in the
Yes,
finals.
that's
KD's
fine.
the
And that,
only
and
Kobe,
player
you
in
know,
Kobe,
that
you know,
top
also,
Kobe
10
you know,
list.
had
also,
so
you know, also,
we
I know,
not
we
gonna
talking about
knock
Curry.
Kobe having Shaq though. So can I knock
I know.
Kobe having
No,
Shaq
no,
too?
no, 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 no. That's fine. But you know, what's so crazy. If Kobe had the privilege to play along somebody like that in his prime, while also matching up against one of the worst defenses in the NBA,
Oh God.
I'm
yep.
pretty sure
All
he'll
right.
be able
Oh
to put a
So
film
God.
what
record.
about the
I don't
Rockets
know. I
series? So
don't
what about the
know.
And
Rockets series?
and then
40
So what about the
90,
Rockets
nigga.
I
That's
mean, is
series?
no, no,
Shaq
no, no,
top
no, no,
When
no,
they
no,
liver?
when
no,
they was
Eli, no,
completely
no, no,
taking
that's
Eli,
not
shots
that
because
nigga
and
in the
bag, bro.
series,
That's not that nigga bag.
no,
KD
no,
was
no,
like
no, no, stop, stop,
73
Is
stop.
from
Shaq
three.
top liver?
during the Rockets series.
Literally in the series before 2010 against the Phoenix Suns, he had literally one of the greatest scoring performances of his career in the postseason, and it was because
Yeah.
it was a mid fucking defense.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mid defense. Kobe didn't really have the privilege to face mid defenses frequently in the postseason.
Ever.
Low won't talk about
So
what Nash
you
did in
just
that series,
blankantly
though.
comparing
But
niggas.
I'm
With
saying
all time
so what
spacing. He faced the mid defense with all time spacing. Don't
That's what
forget
I'm
that.
saying. Like, what are we saying? Because
so
and the only reason why I'm bringing
I
it up
don't
is
think Low
because
had. I
Kevin
don't think
Durant,
Kobe had bad spacing relative to era, though. I don't know what we're doing. Like,
nigga, he said
What do you
he
say?
claimed that. First of all, are
Yeah.
you fucking rubbing a fucking joystick? What's going on right now,
no,
nigga?
I was just
All, but
drinking out of straw. My bad.
but also he's claiming that Ron Artest was a floor spacer. He was not a floor spacer. He
I
just
mean,
To
wasn't.
prop up KD.
it depends on what. It depends on the lineup. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not.
No, it does
Ron,
not.
Defense was
no,
not
it's
part of
not.
the
Nigga,
game.
you
He
could
was
have
the
ran
one that
out
Oh my
bought the
the
defense.
best
god.
No,
shooters
Ron,
in the
Wait,
air, and
bro,
it
bro, bro,
still
bro, bro,
wouldn't
bro,
have
bro.
been as.
Shut the fuck up.
no,
Shut the
it's
fuck up.
not.
Ron Artest at the 4 in 2010 is spacing relative to the rest of the league, but I'm not.
that's what I'm
It's
saying.
not
These
a
niggas
lot of
don't
spacing.
understand.
Like,
This is the fucking dumbest argument I've heard in my life. I'm gonna place Ron Artest at a position that he very rarely played. Now all of a sudden it's floor spacing. That is a fucking dumb argument. He barely played that. Why would you bring that up? That is such a fucking dumb argument. That is such a fucking dumb argument. How many minutes did he play at the power forward position for you to even bring that argument up? God damn, that's such a fucking dumb argument.
And this is spacing
There's some
compared
sample
to
sizes.
Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson.
There's a bit of a
Come on
good
now.
sample size on that.
He
That's a
played
bit of
in
a good
08. He
sample
shot
size.
38% from three and played 44% of his minutes at the four. Nigga, Jesus fucking Christ, nigga. You just be thinking niggas make shit up,
Nigga
bro. Like,
just talk.
Did he play for the Lakers in 08, nigga?
he played for.
You telling me what a nigga did on another team 2 years before he got to the Lakers is fucking dumb. What are we talking about? He didn't. What are we saying right now? That is dumb. I don't give a fuck what this nigga did for Sacramento or Houston, whatever team he was playing for in 08 when he played the power forward position. Nigga, what are we saying? That nigga shot below 30% from three in the postseason in 2010 when he was playing with the Lakers. I'm talking about who did Kobe have as a floor spacer? Are you dumb?
Derek Fisher,
Bro,
Pau
see,
Gasol.
so this is my issue.
If
Bro,
you
this is
say
my issue with Warriors
Derek
fans,
Fisher and
right?
Pau Gasol is a much better answer, but
Bro,
don't
this is my
fucking tell
this,
me that Ron Artest was a floor spacer.
Okay,
Nigga.
okay, okay.
this is my
Listen,
issue with
listen,
Warriors
listen,
fans,
listen,
bro.
listen.
They
Let
don't
me
know
spit.
hoop,
No, no,
bro.
no,
They've
no,
just
no,
been
no.
watching
One second,
basketball
one
since
second. He asked me a
2014.
question.
I don't even
He's
know
not even a
Nigga,
Warriors
you're
Eli's
lying.
fan.
not a Eli's not a
Listen,
Warriors
Nigga's
listen,
not a
Saying
listen,
Warriors
listen.
stuff.
fan. Oh, you be
He ain't
saying
even
Bro,
a
Not
shit.
a
that's
Warriors
Chef.
Warriors
fan.
That's
fan.
Chef Curry, right? That's Chef Curry. Chef Curry is a
Eli.
Warriors fan. I know it.
Eli literally just trying to troll me right now, so I know this nigga's not a Warriors fan.
Oh my god, bro. I'm not. Obviously, I'm
I've
not a
been a
Warriors
Warriors
fan.
fan
But
since
all I'm saying is
2008.
you have to what you have to contend with is just how just how like bad spacing was at the time in general, and that like he was providing a little more relative to other niggas at his position. I do think that it's a bad argument to like call him a spacer and
Eli,
make him
he
like.
shot 30% from
But he was
three.
above league average shooter in the regular season for his entire stint as a Laker. Basically, he was what 36%,
We
35%
are
in that stint.
specifically talking about the championship run. How
Oh
was it
nine and
able?
oh
How
nine
was
and
it
ten. He was
possible?
okay.
09 and 10, he was what? He shot below 30% from three in the postseason. Eli.
In a regular, bro. That's not how you do. That's not how
In
you
the
do.
regular season, he shot 30%.
Really?
Yeah,
Teams were
Really?
not
This
even
is what
He
we
shot
guarding
doing?
Ron
35%
Artest
in
like
Yes,
the
that.
regular
yes,
season.
and then in the postseason, they tried him as a 3-point shooter, which is the reason
Mm-hmm.
why the nigga starts shooting more threes in the postseason because he was left open more often in the
So
postseason.
you want people to play with
Okay.
trash and like is that how you bring players who play with the most
No, I'm
trash?
not. I'm not saying that. We brought up the argument that Kevin Durant, his
Also,
nigga. Why
bringing up
is this nigga
spacing in these
Eli
type of systems,
snacking in my ear? What is going on,
bro.
nigga?
Hop off. Bringing up
This
spacing
nigga,
in
this
systems with screening, like as much movement and screening as this is like weird because of just how congested the floor is and like some of their actions. Like when you go triangle, like your
nigga.
purpose
You
is
need to go to
to like
T-Mobile,
create
Wait,
nigga.
My
offense
Get the
God.
rather
switch
than
fucking better
to like
Wi-Fi, nigga.
My
How
to
about
God.
that?
Verizon.
You need to don't worry about
Eli
going
shit always
triangle, nigga. Go to
wilder, bro.
Switch to
T-Mobile and get better
Niggas
Verizon,
in
Wi-Fi.
Eli.
Twitter
yo, why are
arguing
y'all
about
Eli,
basketball with
switch
their
to
Wi-Fi
Verizon.
cutting out.
Nigga, Jesus
why are you
Christ,
niggas
nigga.
Eli,
wasting it,
Eli,
bro?
your
chill
Jesus.
for this
mic
You
shit,
need
man.
some,
have
nigga. You need
Did
some
you hear what I
donations,
said though,
nigga. You
nigga?
need donations.
your Wi-Fi
You
is
This
know we
nigga
didn't
weird.
hear what
Eli
you said.
We
Wi-Fi
Relax,
actually did
drop.
not.
trash, bro.
You need to go
Okay,
to Comcast and
dog,
figure out why
stop,
your internet is
bro,
that bad.
Got your
This nigga
priorities all
Marcel
fucked up.
loves to
Man,
dicky me, bro. Like, hop off, bro.
Nigga,
Like,
god damn, bro.
listen,
Look,
listen,
look.
What?
listen, bro. Listen,
If your argument is that the system was better set than a lot of other teams in that year, fine. I don't that's fine. I would still then question Kevin Durant's overall ability though in the postseason, where it's a noticeable
I
drop.
wasn't talking about relative to KD. I
Wait,
mean,
who brought up KD by the way? Who
Yeah,
said
who
KD
said
was
Steph.
KD over
But
Kobe?
That nigga
but
Steph.
still though,
I don't even think Steph
even
Curry
if he did
believes this
drop, he
because
was
he
much
made a
better
whole
than most
thread about
players
how he
was
thinks
in the
Steph
playoffs
is
though.
or
Even though he
KD is
dropped,
over
like
Steph.
Yeah,
him dropping was still much better than
the
a lot of
argument
great
for
players.
KD, Kevin Durant can't drop that much because he doesn't provide much of anything else in contrast to other top 10 players. So he's not playmaking as much as other top 10 players. He's not defending as much as top 10 players either. So like he can't him dropping to the same level of efficiency as like let's just say Kobe. Him dropping that much, so I'm getting Kobe's efficiency which is still like above league average, right? So it's still fine. But I mean, Kobe's efficiency without the defense and without the playmaking. So that by default would make him a worse player.
But Lo,
KD
you're
adds a lot
forgetting.
of
Lo,
KD
you're
adds a lot
forgetting
of
though.
things. KD adds a lot of
But how
things,
many
bro.
of them
But
niggas
it's
got
not.
the
It's
bag that KD
not
got though?
the nigga can't pass
All
the.
right, nigga.
I'm saying I'm
I can.
making
All
contract
right.
top 10 players.
Lo, your shit
I
wilder
can
right
name you the
Yeah,
things.
yeah, 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 yeah,
You
yeah.
KD
You was
got
provide.
just on my dick though. You was just on my dick though.
Lo, you
You was
got
just
that
on my dick,
cricket. You
my
got that
nigga.
KD
cricket going on
provides.
right
You know
now.
what? You know what it is. You know what it is. I gotta remove somebody because the internet.
Damn.
Damn.
KD
Not gonna
provides
lie, Lo,
elite.
but Lo, you're forgetting who has the bag that KD got.
Nah, I'm saying
Nah,
though. I'm
shut that
saying
shit
though.
up.
Oh
That's not.
my
But that's not.
Oh my
I don't even think
god.
Hey,
that's the
I argue
argument he
Kobe
was
probably
making.
got a deeper bag.
That's not the
Kobe
Kobe
argument.
got
does
that
not.
dog
Every
though.
time I
Actually,
hear
Steph
about
has
this
the
KD
deepest
nigga,
bag.
it ends with
Kobe
a
don't
rap
even got the
battle, bro.
dog that KD got them, bro.
All right, bro.
Bro,
Yeah,
you
yeah. The
Talk
dog
shit.
is
literally
doing
Bro,
the
don't
Kobe,
say
73 and
KD
19.
without bag,
shit,
bro.
I ain't never seen Kobe drop 40 on LeBron in Game 3, bro.
The KD disrespect is crazy, bro. KD
No, it's
disrespect.
not.
Okay, all seriousness,
I'm
nobody
talking about
disrespect
What
All
has
right,
KD.
so
KD
KD.
done without multiple
no, it's not.
all-time
If
shot
if you
creators
if
Can
you
I
have
beside
name?
him?
KD in your top 10, I don't know
I
who
am.
you
I
got
am
a top
truly
10.
just trying to
Can I
put
name?
things in proper context.
Can I
And
name? Can I name? All right. So
Name your top 10.
without you said without multiple, KD won MVP,
he
won
said he's top
like
10 already.
50
In the
something
playoffs,
games
nigga.
without Westbrook. Okay, all right. He made the finals. Like, what are you talking about? Like, how
Nigga
many
had
players? All right,
James
so
Harden and fucking Russell
so
Westbrook, man.
when has Kobe ever made the finals without another All Star on his team?
When has
Bro, what are
KD
Come
you?
on,
done
bro.
that?
What?
Right? Like, what?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You're gonna need good players to make to do
Bro,
something
when
in the
has
playoffs,
Kevin
bro.
Durant
You're
even
gonna
made the
need good
finals
players.
without an All Star anyway?
When does he make the conference
If your
finals?
name
That's
isn't
the point.
LeBron,
When has
you're
he
not
made the
That's
doing
the
that. If
playoffs?
point
your
that
How
he
name
about
is
how about Bron
making.
not even an
That's the
All Star?
point
if
How
that
your
about
he's
name isn't
Hall of
LeBron,
making.
Famer?
that's the point I'm making. Nobody does. So you're saying that KD played with good players is stupid because everybody
I'm not
needs,
saying good players.
except your name is
I
LeBron.
mean,
You
I
need
mean
another All
Kawhi.
Star.
I mean, I can count 2 rings on Kobe's fingers if all Hall of Famers next to him.
Kawhi had an
I can talk
all-time
about
defense
Kawhi.
behind him. So he had
Pau
Like,
Gasol.
let's
Pau
not
Kawhi had an
disrespect
Gasol
Pau
could
all-time
be a
Gasol.
Hall
defense
of
behind
Famer.
him.
Pau
Let's not
Gasol would be a
disrespect
Hall of
Pau.
Yes, Powell would be a Hall of Famer. Look, outside of Chef, Jesus, with the things that he's saying, I haven't really heard any crazy takes. I just be hearing a lot of Warrior hate on the timeline, and I just don't get it.
Facts, bro. That'd be facts.
No, no,
Niggas
no,
just hate Steph
not.
Curry
You
though.
can't say facts. You're saying
Niggas
crazy
hate
shit.
Steph Curry.
It's just some bullshit on the timeline.
You know, well, you want to know why people hate Steph Curry? Because they realize that he's passing up
Hey,
the
Lo,
greatest
Lo,
players
what do
of
you got
all
to say
time.
about these fans that think Curry greater than LeBron, though?
Well,
That's wild.
Drake just said that he was baiting when he said that, so he doesn't believe
LeBron is
it.
the
Well, I know
What about
unanimous.
Dre.
that
I know
nigga
Dre doesn't
Irving?
believe that. I know Dre doesn't
LeBron is the
believe that. But there
unanimous
are
GOAT.
Warriors
I
fans. I
just
know
got
Dre is a troll, but there are
no.
Warriors fans who actually say that shit.
I
Well,
So
wait.
Dre's the only one that I've ever heard say it. So I don't know these
Drake
other
become
ones.
All right,
public
cool.
enemy number
All right, cool.
one.
Say it.
nah.
Like the
Here,
South
hold on. Let me
Seas.
send. Let me
Hey,
send some
Lo,
shit
have
to
you
my
heard
man.
of Manny,
Hold
bro?
on.
I don't know who Manny is.
Bro, Manny is a troll. I don't even know why you brought that up.
You need to meet Manny.
Look at that. I'm about to show you.
No, Lo would kick Manny out of a space in 10 seconds. I'm not even joking.
The way he hate that nigga, bro, he might as well, bro.
What the hell?
My issue though, and like my issue is that when people say like, "Oh, you can't even put Steph in the same sentence as LeBron," I think that's a little crazy because
No,
I
it
think.
is crazy. It isn't crazy. I'm telling you, it's
Yeah.
not.
But here's the thing. I think there's things Steph does better than LeBron.
Wait,
Okay,
what?
there's a
Outside of
lot of things.
shooting and
There's a lot of
off-ball
things that
gravity.
players do better. That doesn't mean they're on the same
Yeah.
status.
No, but I think I thought okay. Well,
Dirk shoots
He
better
doesn't
than
think
LeBron.
he's
Is he on the
better.
same level as
no.
LeBron?
Let me put it this way. I think I value scalability. I think Steph is considerably more scalable than LeBron.
Just because
That's
somebody can shoot.
no such a, but it's not just the shooting. It's the play make. It's being able to
Don't
leverage.
bring up playmaking. LeBron is
Oh,
clear that
Yeah.
nigga
let him
Come
there.
on,
finish.
man. What are we
Why
Let him
you
doing?
backing
finish.
yourself
It's
into a
the
hole, man?
leverage. It's the ability to leverage the threat of that shot and play with
Bro, I hate that
non-spacers.
argument
Yo,
so
In
this
much. I
combo
hate
non-spacers.
that
Bro,
sucks. I
argument
ain't gonna
no
so
lie,
matter
this
much.
what,
combo
that
sucks.
playmaking is not the value that LeBron brings for his.
But that's not. But hold on. But the ability to play with non-shooters and non-spacers and still be the engine of a high-powered offense because he can use. See, with LeBron, if you put non-spacers around LeBron in the modern era, post 2012, really,
But
like
didn't LeBron do that? Like LeBron's done that even in like if I want to say like I want to I believe it was 2009. they were one of the top offenses in the
He
league.
literally
Top
just sat there and
defense.
said
Yeah,
post
yeah. He said
2012. He just said
What?
post.
Come on, why are we moving the goalposts?
No, because the game has changed. The game has changed. Perimeter shooting is valued more now more than ever.
Spitting.
And so to be able to play with a defensive minded lineup the way Steph is able to, you can put Andre Iguodala, Livingston, Draymond, Looney on the floor with Steph and still hold serve offensively and then get stops on defense. With
Facts.
LeBron, like not that he can't do it at the level of Steph though. Like you even saw with Westbrook and AD. I know there were injuries, but
he's
in the end,
38, dog.
that
He is
offense
38 now.
but that
Bro.
okay, fine. He's 38. But I'm just saying that's a snapshot. You could go looking historically, like you put non-spacers around LeBron. You can't optimize them like Steph can. This is what I'm saying. I
I
don't think
disagree, bro.
that's not a
Let's not
perfect.
use LeBron's
I don't
age
even
now
think that
because
era argument is fair because like we literally saw LeBron go out there and lead consistent top offenses with minimal spacing before
But
the
space
3-point era. I don't know why the 3-point era like matters now because
because
he's did.
spacing wasn't valued then as it is now.
Okay, but that even
you could
helps
get
his
away with it.
argument. He did it.
No, but there's a difference between doing it when spacing isn't valued and when spacing
Okay,
is
well,
valued.
what's the difference? What's the difference?
Because Marcus Smart, Al Horford, Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown can all shoot. So now Steph is
Marcus Smart doesn't even get defended. Al Horford doesn't even get
bro, he shot
defended.
41
Nigga,
from
now we're just lying at
finals.
this point, bro.
This is what I'm saying.
Marcus Smart does not. He gets teams go under his screens. Teams want Marcus Smart
He
to shoot.
can shoot. He can
Okay,
shoot.
but he's not. I don't think you're
Can
understanding.
Kevon Looney shoot past
When it
12
comes
feet?
to spacing, spacing is
No.
not just the
Does
ability
Klay
to make the
Thompson
shot.
not exist? I don't get it.
Spacing is
That-
not just the ability to make the
okay,
shot.
but
It's
Thompson
about
stinks
being
in the
able to
you're
playoffs.
using
provide
Clay.
the
You're
spacing.
using Clay like we
Klay
didn't see
also has
Steph play with
Like
LeBron.
Steph has two of his rings next to KD and Clay, so that's why like I don't understand your argument. The other argument
Kobe
is
got 3 of them next
Because
to
in the
Shaq
modern
and
era,
And
Gasol.
because in the modern era, you like think about this. That's why like with Miami, right? You had Jimmy, you had Bam, but even Jimmy as like a quote unquote non-spacer, he has the ball in his hands. So Draymond has to have the ball in his hands. See, that's the other thing. People punish Steph for not having the ball in his hands, not averaging 8, 9
Okay,
assists.
but what about 2012? Huh? You said post 2012. What about 2012?
No, 2012 is fair. That's a fair because he had Bosh, he had Mike Miller, Shane Battier, he had D Wade.
2013.
13 was a similar roster.
I think
construct.
2012. I think 2012, bro. If you go back and actually watch those games, man, that spacing was not like that
I'm
good.
not saying LeBron can't do it. I'm saying I don't think he can do it as well as Steph. That's just my opinion. I don't think that's
That's
crazy.
not enough. That's not enough for the scalability thing because LeBron is a better defender. LeBron is a better playmaker. LeBron is obviously a better rebounder, but that's mainly based off size. Like LeBron is going to be more physically imposing. LeBron, even though I would say Steph's a way better off-ball defender. Of course, I mean
I
not
think
defender, not
I'll
off-ball
say
defender. My bad, not off-ball defender, off-ball
Said it.
player,
Um,
like shooter and everything. Off-ball
oh, you was spitting.
player.
so.
I
But
think
LeBron is more scalable, bro.
I think with
I don't
Dre,
think he's more scalable. I really don't.
I think
I'll let
people
you
just
talk about who could be a role player on a already contending team.
I
But
think people just think because you're a shooter, you're more scalable.
No, that's not it. It's because he can play off and on the ball. That's
And
because
LeBron can
that's
too, bro.
but
Why
not at
couldn't he
that
do it
level
next to
of
Westbrook?
Steph.
Why couldn't he do
And
it
guess
next to
what?
Westbrook?
Guess what? That goes back
LeBron
to my
can't
point.
play
It's
at
the
the
Why
shooting.
couldn't he
It's
do it
just
next to
the shooting.
Westbrook?
It's
Low,
just the
Eli
shooting.
said
yes,
Okay,
he
but
Dre.
hold on.
spitting
But
him up.
hold on. Can't I say that it's just the ability to drive for LeBron?
No, because LeBron play makes better than Steph too.
Not
No,
off the ball.
okay, so tell me
Does
this.
he?
All right.
So
not
He
to the
he
extent
does.
that
Yes.
you're trying to
He
make it
does.
Yes,
sound.
It's
I
he
it's a
does.
wouldn't
Like
say
y'all
very
gotta
to the
stop this
extent
it's
that
a
you're
gravity.
trying
very
to make it
but
foolish
again,
sound.
argument
Come
if you
on.
don't believe that LeBron can play make on the same level as Steph Curry.
Wait,
Not off
no
the
one said
ball.
on the same level. He
It's
just said
not as
better.
big as a gap
No,
as
you
Charlie,
said
stop about to get
does he?
that
You
off.
tried to insinuate it. Stop it. You tried to
And
insinuate
also
it.
and also
Ooh,
even
I
even
just
if
said, does he?
even
Yes, and that's a goofy question.
even
Come on, you
even
know what you're
but
doing.
wait even if you want to even if you want to say that the scalability offensively favors um Curry, the you can just say the scalability favors LeBron defensively, especially at his
oh, that's
peak.
true. I agree with
This
that.
so I don't like what you're saying is fine, but that still doesn't take into account on the other side of the floor because LeBron had the 2016 Cavs as a top 10 defense and fucking outside of Tristan Thompson, I can't think of. J.R. Smith was a solid point of attack, but I
Yeah.
can't think of that many like quality like elite level defenders for that team to have been a top 10 defensive
Delhi,
unit.
They
Timofey
had a
Mozgov though. Timofey.
Let me tell
Delhi,
you why. They had
No,
a good
stop.
Delhi.
Please stop. Please stop. Please
They
stop.
had a good
Delhi.
defensive scheme and they had a good defensive coach. But I agree,
Oh
personnel
please,
wise.
David Blatt was sorry, bro. Get out of
No,
here.
no, no.
No,
Ty
that
Lue,
was
He was
Ty
sorry
Lue.
offensively.
It was Ty
Ty,
Lue.
That was
Ty
Ty
Lue.
Lue, man. That was Ty Lue, bro.
Ty Lue's a good defensive coach. He is.
No, I
But
know, but you said David Blatt.
no, I didn't. I did not.
My bad. I assumed David Blatt. My fault.
But it's okay. That's okay. But in 17, we saw now you add more. Like you added Kyle Korver. You add these shooters to the mix, and you see that scalability. Like LeBron's the burden of LeBron defensively, on his shoulders increased, and it's tough because he had to spearhead a defense where you had Kevin Love, Kyrie, Kyle Korver on the court at the same time. That's not as easy. So what I'm saying is like I don't know. You could point to seasons where LeBron defensively was able to mask some of those deficiencies by his teammates, and I agree with that. But I think Steph, in terms of his scalability offensively, we've been seeing this since
Wait, I'm
really
confused,
what
Dre. I'm confused because
Yeah.
When is Steph in the years that Steph has won a championship? Steph has always had Clay. Steph has always, or he
Bro,
had
thank
KD.
you.
Clay
He had,
Thank
stinks.
you, man.
and
Oh
then
my
on top,
god,
but
man.
Clay is
Nigga,
still
watch your
providing
fucking
space.
mouth about Clay.
Clay's still providing
He
spacing.
stinks. Fucking,
They also
I'm
had
trying to give
but
Clay
there's
they had
five.
they
he's
had
not
Jordan
that good.
Poole
He
this
wasn't
year.
that
They
good in
had
the
they had Jordan Poole
2018
this
playoffs.
year.
Bro, please
Like
be
they've had
quiet.
stretch.
Wait.
Yeah,
But we can't use Jordan Poole because if you watch the playoffs, as those series went on, he had to fade out the rotation because of his
Yeah, even if he
defense.
fade out the rotation, he still provided spacing when he was on the court with
GP
Steph.
two, but does GP two provide spacing?
GP does not provide spacing though.
GP
Wiggins
two
does.
does not. That's my
I
point.
I think everything Dre is saying, like his off ball playmaking, his on ball playmaking, his off ball scoring, on ball scoring, comes from his shooting. If he
No,
wasn't
it's the
such a great,
shooting. That's my problem.
yes,
Y'all keep
it was
making scalability only about shooting, and
right.
that's
That
not
comes
how this
from his
works.
shooting.
No, but I
It's
acknowledge
not
LeBron's defense makes him scalable as well. That's fair
Like
too.
that's okay. That's fair. But
But
like,
but but then but just to even rebuttal to what you're saying about like the following year when you added like worse defensive players, again
Yeah.
that's like me highlighting in 2021 when Curry had worse offensive players, their offensive
thank
rating
you.
where they were the 20th. So like
No,
of
exactly.
course I'm not sitting here saying that LeBron, especially when we're talking about somebody who's also carrying the load offensively, has the ability to like anchor a defense when you add Kyle Korver to the fucking mix. Like, of course, I get that,
There's
especially
a
at age
point.
30
And
too.
hell,
And
I'd
Dre and
argue
Dre,
before they got to the finals,
I don't really get the whole era thing because
Omo,
like
you're a clown, bro.
at the end of the day, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yo, for real, I
This
still fuck with
nigga's
y'all.
calling me a clown because I said LeBron is not in Curry is not in
There is a
LeBron's
point
career.
with which you can't overcome. So like last year, Kent Bazemore starting. That's a little extreme,
Hey,
but
no, who the fuck just called me a clown? Who is that? Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Don't go back on mute all of a sudden because
You're a fucking clown.
and why am I a fucking
Promise he
clown? You
doesn't
idiot.
care.
Why am
He's
I a
gonna call
clown?
you a clown
Steph's
again.
better than LeBron.
all right, nigga, you trolling now.
Oh
No, I ain't
Jesus.
trolling. It's just fact.
Yeah, nigga trolling.
But
Okay.
He's
no,
trolling,
no,
bro.
Y'all
no,
said
he's
y'all
not
top
trolling.
tens, and I didn't wasn't
Who
fucking
are
with
these
it, so I
niggas
made
though?
one. Y'all need
Who
to
are
look
these
at my
niggas?
shit.
so
Regardless,
with,
like I was saying,
with
bro,
yeah, go ahead.
like I don't really get the whole era thing because at the end of the day, bro, like if LeBron, even in 2009, 2010, if this man is uh, playing with minimal spacing and still
3
going out there
rings on
and
Braun's
still
head.
okay, I don't care, bro. God, and then if he's still able to go out there and average nearly 40 points a game, being met at the rim with niggas like Dwight Howard with minimal spacing, that should still prove that this nigga is still able
Nigga
to do.
has
I
a
don't care
junior
about era.
basketball
Era to
starting.
me doesn't matter at that
If
point.
LeBron's to go to Steph beat him 3
Wait,
times,
so
what does that make Steph?
I don't know if Eli could bring these numbers up. I don't want to bring up LeBron's efficiency because it's really relative to league average, but that like I would be curious to see. So because we talk about LeBron as a scorer, even if LeBron was able to still be the engine of those offenses in those later 2000 on those later 2000 teams, especially on the Cavs, I don't think he was like as a scorer. I think he was like less efficient because
Then
of
Curry, yeah.
no no no
Let's
Argue.
no 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 than his own like than he is now because when you have spacing as the hub of an offense, now that creates even more spacing for yourself to operate, whether it be a playmaker or scorer. in those Cleveland years, now I'm curious if his relative true shooting was lower then than it is now. Not his true shooting, his relative true shooting.
Yeah, I mean his relative true shooting
Yeah.
2010 was like 6-7%, something like that.
Yeah, outside of 2009, 2010,
Like
there
like
was some
in
noticeable
20,
drop.
20 in 2010, his true shooting was 60%. So 60% even now would be
That's
yeah.
crazy.
So like that doesn't so that now that argument.
He didn't up it.
So
So
Oh, they
2010,
slipped back.
they played who they played, the Celtics, right, in the second round. They got bounced, right?
yes, in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, 2010 into 08.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So again, even in 2010, he was like he was on. I at that stage in history, I don't know how bad floor spacing was. I had to, like just go look at the team, but it certainly wasn't like peak floor spacing, especially when they were running lineups with like Andy and fucking Ilgauskas and Shaq running those type of rotations. Jameson was
Yo, 10 was bad from a spacing perspective. I
yeah
can
yeah.
understand saying 09 was good, but 10 when they would run like dual big lineups with like Shaq on the court, like and that nigga
Shaq
was
is
still getting his
And I forgot about it. He also had JJ Hickson as well, so they were running fucking.
That reminds me about how
Hey,
bad
hey,
Wade's
yo, Lo,
spacing was.
I've been meaning to get you to
If only
look at
Wade
my
didn't
top
have
10, bro.
Savage
Like,
ass.
I wanted to see what you think about it, for real. It's on top. Read that shit. Tell me what you think.
But in short, I'll look at it real
That
quick.
shit ass, little bro.
In
Horrible.
short,
Good
like
man.
even when I look at that team,
Nah,
like
this nigga's
I wonder
trolling.
why that team was a top 10 defensive unit either. Like that team should not have
What
been.
team? What
Yep,
team?
that was the year that LeBron ended up finishing second in DPOY voting. You remember that?
That's because LeBron's the GOAT, man. That's why, man. LeBron's the greatest, unanimous GOAT.
2010.
That's why. Best to
No, no,
ever
oh
do it.
no. Those are
09
practically
they
the
were
same
top
team, right?
5 defense, and that
Yeah,
was
well,
all LeBron. He was clearly the best defender on that team.
but I don't. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's. I mean, there's multiple years in LeBron's career where he was able to like
Yeah.
raise the ceiling of a defensive team, team defensively to a top 10 status. So like the same thing you're saying about Curry just being more scalable offensively, I can say the same thing about LeBron defensively. And also, I just think that when the roles are
Lo,
reversed,
who do you think is better on offense though, LeBron or Curry?
No, I think
Curry's better.
I still
LeBron.
I
think
think
Curry. I still think LeBron is slightly better, but I also just believe that I do believe that Curry is one of the greatest offensive players the league has ever seen. So I don't like
Sure.
disagree with that.
Who do you think is the
yeah, I
But
think
best
they're both
offensive
top
player
five.
ever?
Curry
but I
Best.
think man, them
MJ.
is some years of Jordan. Yeah, there's some years of Jordan that just don't make no sense.
Respect Magic, bro. Respect Magic.
They all
No.
top five. They all top
Oh
five.
my
But I
god,
will
bro.
say,
You
And
niggas
to
don't
be fair,
respect
also
playmaking,
I ain't
bro.
gonna hold
Most
you,
important aspect
nigga.
of this sport.
It's about to be respect Jokic when that team get healthy and get a bunch of 3 pointers.
Oh,
Well, nigga,
I think you
man.
I think what he meant, guys, is respect Luca in 2030. Facts, facts.
Facts.
Luca might also be there. He gotta become a more consistent 3 point shooter though, and a free throw shooter.
And
Respect
that nigga,
defense.
bro.
That nigga, bro.
Luca
That
with a
is so
Peloton, bro.
important.
Ooh.
But
Luca
okay,
Man
with
so
a
I
said
was about to
Luca with
say
the
Peloton.
Peloton. That's
the
crazy.
point. I got to look at this. It was LeBron. Where did LeBron finish for DPOY that year? But the point I'm trying to make though is that in
It's
short,
top five.
like if you
LeBron was
flip
crazy
it,
on
if
defense.
you flip the scalability on the other side of the floor, LeBron is much more scalable on both sides than Curry is on both sides. So like we just like
Valid.
yeah, like the
Exactly,
spit,
scalability.
bro.
spit, spit,
The
spit,
Exactly.
scale,
spit.
even if I were to give you the scalability argument for Curry offensively, which is fine. On the other end, he's nowhere near as scale. He's nowhere near as
Yeah, you
Gotta
put
do Curry
scalable
versus Kobe.
as Curry defensive. I mean,
Curry
he's
versus
nowhere
Kobe
near.
is a very fair conversation. I don't know why niggas are getting
Curry,
mad
Is
at
Co-
it.
Curry
Curry's
Kobe
better
is an
all
actual
Nah,
time?
Curry,
combo.
LeBron
Curry
just
and Kobe is a combo. It
the
is.
defense I
Curry is
agree with.
better all
Curry
time.
and Kobe is not a conversation.
The defense I agree with, and
Why
I
isn't
think
it?
LeBron's
It's because
scalability.
of Bag. That's why it's not a
I
combo.
Mm,
I think LeBron's scalability
Curry
in terms of
offensively better.
the non-spacing in those like mid to late 2000s, that's fair. But I also think because spacing wasn't as valued in that era, I think it would be easier because you're not now the opposition is not rolling out 3 or 4 shooters. Like the look at the Mavs. Like look at the lineups the Warriors ran, and that's a little bit of a worse example because but even then like we ran out Kavan, we ran out Draymond at the same time a lot. We ran, and then against the Celtics, like similar lineups with GP2. These guys can't space or shoot, but like in the end, you could play those guys even with the Celtics on the other end having 4 or more like legit shooters.
Wait, are
These
you
guys.
saying
I
saying that
get what you're
spacing didn't
saying.
matter as much because the opposing team wasn't running out like a well-spaced lineup?
No, I'm just saying
I
it
mean,
wasn't.
niggas was
It just was.
we ran Wade, Haslam, Bosch lineups in 12, and we were still dominating, bro.
Like,
I
It was
think
think
that
really
me.
there's
because of the
players.
defense.
I think
I'm
that
more
there's
so.
players that can transcend bad
Even
spacing, but I
bro, it
don't think
wasn't
it's
even
fair to
just
say.
because of the
That's not what I
defense, bro. We
said.
had one
I
of the
did
best
not. I said
offenses.
LeBron can. I did not say that. I said Steph is more scalable. I didn't say LeBron isn't scalable.
Offensively,
I'd say that the LeBron's defense was creating opportunities on offense due to fast breaking the quick
Oh
service
my god,
LeBron's
I
probably
hate
the
defense.
that
best
argument.
transition scorer
I hate that
ever,
argument.
right?
But you're okay. I understand what you're saying about
Man, that Brown
putting
and Wade transition.
rotating like putting out bad floor spacing lineups and Curry still being able to transcend that to quality offenses. But again, like the reverse can be said though about LeBron on the defensive end. And I know for a fact, and that's just how they are. But I also know for a fact, if I put mediocre defenders around Curry, like nigga, that team will be trash. It doesn't matter how good
or at
that
least
team will be
not
offensively.
like a championship level team.
Like it will be if I remove Draymond Green with fucking with Illa
Andre Drummond,
Suggs
bro.
like
Put
that.
I
Andre
mean,
Drummond on him.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say
We
one
saw
other thing.
earlier in the
One
year
other
when
thing
I
for
would say
Draymond
offensive
was
this.
making
Nigga,
shots.
scalability.
if you replace Draymond with Andre Drummond, that team
But
would
hold
One
on.
be
other
I
one
will
other
say
thing with
this.
offensive scalability
I,
that I think is important
Christian
is like
Thompson.
as much as we talk about like guys who can function without like elite spacing, for one thing that should be said for LeBron is like he's one of the guys where he doesn't need other people on his team to really be high end shot creators, right? Like because he can do so much of it by himself. And that's another thing that I feel like has to go into your idea of how resilient a guy is or how scalable he is in the sense that like LeBron on teams where he's really the only option in terms of creating shots or he's the only person hell who can like dribble consistently, right? Is still going to be effective as a, you know,
You
leading an
can damn
offense
near
and
say that
creating
about
a
the
great
Warriors
offense.
this year, though. You can
I
damn
would
near say that
I'm
about
not
the Warriors
saying
this
I'm not
year.
saying Curry is incapable of it. I'm saying like
Yeah,
scalability
yeah, I
is
hear you.
more than just like, oh, what can you do when you don't have good spacing?
Okay, I hear you. I hear you.
Well,
I hear you.
just really quickly, I just want to say last year, I don't think the Warriors had great defenders on that roster. Like in terms of like the body, the roster construction, the body of work, they were top 5 in defense. Like
And
they.
Draymond and Wiggins was enough.
And that was
No, no,
Draymond
no.
and Wiggins.
I know. But it's defense is more than 2 players. Like to hold down the fort, you need like to be a top 5 defense. Their 8-man rotation was Steph,
I mean,
Bazemore, who's I
Bazemore
know.
was a solid defender
I
last
know
year. You
you're gonna
can't
say
claim that
that.
he
You're
I
gonna
wasn't
mean,
say that.
solid.
I mean, they also
LeBron
had
was
Man,
leading
I
the
Kelly.
did not
third
watch
best
Bazemore
defense
be a
in the
solid
league
defender.
running.
Kelly
Yeah, you're
Oubre
LeBron was
Bazemore
leading the
fouled
third
a
best
lot, but
defense
you
in the
have to
league
give him
running.
credit
all right.
for
Hold
Mo
on.
like
Williams, Delonte
You
West,
wasn't Wiggins.
Kelly Oubre is
Anderson
solid.
Varejao.
Kelly Oubre is solid.
Kelly Oubre
Yeah.
was solid
Kelly
on
Oubre was
ball.
hurt for
Off
more
ball
than
he
half the
was
year.
mid.
No, wait. But they were running Jordan Poole, Michael Mulder too as rotation dudes with Steph on the court, and they were running JT. JTA is a decent defender, but
JT
but
had a really good defensive
but
season
again,
last year.
And Looney is a decent.
Niggas
Looney is
ass
a
is a
decent
I
POA.
was
defender.
about
He's
to
ass.
say
JTA's defense.
He's a
they
bad
ran
POA. I
they
mean,
ran
last year he was a better POA
Looney is
defender than he
also
was
yeah
solid as well.
they ran Looney, Draymond, and Wiggins. That's enough to weather the storm.
and like
Can I ask you a question,
And
bro?
if we're being real,
Is
Draymond is
running
just so great at
Mo
carrying a
Williams,
defense.
Delonte
Draymond is
West, Anderson Varejao, and Ilgauskas is that good enough to have the third best defense? Love in your opinion?
36
Say it
fucking
again.
wait.
Jonas Augustus.
Hey, repeat that,
Yeah,
Eli.
bro.
Repeat that.
Is running Mo Williams, Delonte West, Anderson Varejao, and Ilgauskas at 33 good enough for a top 3 defense?
Respect
What
No,
Varejao.
what was
no,
the But what was
no.
the full rotation?
They were third in defense, bro. That's so insane to me, bro. This nigga, bro.
And mind you, Draymond
This
is one of
nigga
the best
covered so much
backpackers.
ground.
Draymond is one of the best backpackers when it comes to defense. Like I've ever.
LeBron was really so good on defense. I mean, he was good in these younger years, but what he did in Miami was like, holy fuck, bro.
Yeah.
Like, imagine you're one of the best man defenders in the league. You're able to guard four and a half. I'll say 4.5